If you're coming to Barcelona this August 2024, in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you some of the top activities, the best neighborhood festivals, and some massive events that you won't want to miss. But before we get too far into the video, as I do every single month, I've taken this video and put it into a city guide that you can take with you on your phone, including all of the places where all of these events are going to be held, maps, some more suggestions that I can't fit into the video. So if you want to take this guide with you while you're in Barcelona so you can make the most out of your trip, or you just want to support the channel, you've got a QR code right here where you can download the guide and also a link below. And before we get into the specific events and activities that are going on in Barcelona in the month of August, I wanted to address one issue. If you've seen my 7 Don'ts of Barcelona video, you'll know that my first recommendation is not to come in August. And really it was for the 2 reasons that it's really hot and humid, and there's a lot of closures due to a lot of the locals going on vacation, especially in that second half of the month. But if you're coming in August, I understand you're still going to have a great time. Just understand that it is really humid. August is the hottest month of the year, and realistically, what you can find is that the middle of the day is the hottest time. Starting around 2 o'clock and really going until 5, maybe even 6 in the afternoon, it is going to be the hottest times. So you might want to plan your activities around that. Doing things earlier in the morning, and then even maybe being inside a museum or something during those hottest hours, going back out into the city around 7 o'clock at night and exploring. Fortunately, you've got all sorts of different things that are going on throughout the city, especially into the evening, that we'll talk about a little bit later. The other thing is that a lot of those locals go on vacation. So you'll notice that there are what seems to be a lot less people around, because that second half really is the time that most people are out of town. And so what you have are sometimes those restaurants or even those shops that are closed until the beginning of September. So if you're coming at the end of the month, just know that you will find some things that are closed. If you're coming at the beginning of the month, you don't have to worry about it as much. But like I said before, so many different things are going on. Festivals, Barca games, and La Liga's starting back up. And the biggest event that you're going to find in Barcelona this year. So despite the heat and the summer vacations, there's plenty for you to do. One of my favorite activities to recommend, and one that I try to get to at least once throughout the entire summer, is Salah Monja week. Now, it started right at the end of June, but the last day that you're going to have to catch the open air cinema and see a movie at the castle on the top of Montjuïc is going to be on August 2nd. What's really fun about the last movie is that it's always a surprise, so nobody knows realistically until you show up. They do give out clues throughout the weeks with all the different movies, but I've never figured it out beforehand. You always show up, see what's going on, but those tickets do go fast. So if you're interested on August 2nd, catching that surprise movie up in an open air cinema on the side of Montjuïc, which is always a lot of fun, make sure you get online and make those reservations now. Now, August means that football season is back underway. So the Liga is getting started again at mid-August. Starting on the 18th, you've got all the games. Unfortunately, we don't have any home games that first week, so we're going to have to wait until the second week of La Liga play to see Barca at home. They're going to be playing Athletic Bilbao that August 25th. But remember that what you have are those dates that are really just set for the weekend. When we get a little bit closer, we'll know the time and the exact date. It could be on Saturday or Sunday. We don't know yet. But apart from just seeing Barca, the other team in Barcelona, Espanyol, who had moved down to the second division for the last season, has moved back up again. So now we've got 2 different games that we can go over and check out. That same weekend, they'll be hosting Real Sociedad. So if you can't make it over to the Barca game, make sure you're getting over and checking out Espanyol as they ascend back into the first league. But before everything gets underway, if you're here a little bit earlier, you can still see some football, because Barca always starts their season off with a friendly that's known as the Joan Gamper Trophy. Joan Gamper is the original founder of Barcelona and one of the first players who always has this game dedicated to him to start the season. That'll be taking place on what looks like is going to be August 11th. The team that they're playing against, we don't know yet, and I don't know exactly where they're going to be playing. Talks of the Camp Nou opening back up for this season with a limited capacity were on, but we're not sure if they still will be playing, at least at the beginning, in that Olympic stadium. But on that 11th, what you have are 3 different options of teams. It could be a French, Italian, or even a German team. But the big deal is that Barca this year is going to be celebrating its 125th anniversary. So this is a big, big deal this year. They're going to have special shirts and all sorts of things going on. but they also want to have an opponent for the first friendly that's celebrating their 125th anniversary as well. So there's options of Marseille or maybe even Milan, other ones as well, so we'll see who it is. Once you know, leave a comment below. There is one public holiday in August, which is the 15th. It's the Ascension of Mary, and it's celebrated all around the city, basically with the day off. And I always let you know when you have these days off because you will find a lot of things that are closed. Again, all of those tourist attractions are not going to be affected by it, but if you notice that shops are closed or maybe some restaurants as well, now you know the reason why. But the best part about this specific holiday are all the different festivals that get kicked off, and some of them are the best you'll find all year. The first that you're probably going to find are the Festas de San Roque, really probably better known as those Gothic quarter festivals, which are always really fun to kind of just find as you're exploring the old part of Barcelona. Right in the heart of the Gothic quarter, we have the oldest tradition, the oldest festivals throughout the entire city, this year being celebrated for the 435th time. Going all the way back to 1589 when these festivals started, Roque was a migrant who came through to Barcelona during the plagues, got the plague himself, but because nobody else did, and because he kind of sacrificed himself and went out of those city walls, people really started to celebrate and rejoice. You'll find statues of him all over the city, and during the days of the 14th to the 17th of August, you've got all sorts of cultural things going on throughout the Gothic quarter. You'll find parades and dances and different things throughout the streets, especially in that Plaza Nova. So make sure you're around there on those days. But the big festival that gets kicked off on August 15th and is going to run through the 21st of the month is the Festas de Gracia. And the Festas de Gracia are probably the best known and the best festivals that you're going to find throughout Barcelona throughout the year, and part of those neighborhood festivals that you see throughout the month. Got some more coming up, so stick around to see what those actually are. But the Festas de Gracia have been going on for over 200 years in that neighborhood of Gracia, and really have so much throughout that entire week that you can really see why everybody wants to go over there. It's become so popular that this year they're actually going to have on the 18th a night of silence. But not really a full night of silence, but realistically something where it is a little bit quieter so that the neighbors can actually get some rest. Now, it's one of the things that I always like to remind you guys is that these neighborhood festivals really started as they are called, festivals for the neighborhood. So what you have are dinners that'll be in the street, all sorts of different cultural things that are going through. You've got the correfocs, you've got the human towers that you always see, but also little games for the kids and for the people that are living in the neighborhood. But the best part about the Festas de Gracia are all the decorations that you can see throughout the neighborhood. Last year, about 23 different streets competed in the contest to see who could make the most creative and really the best scenes throughout their entire streets. The neighbors get together and create these incredible themed streets where you can find things from Toy Story, Little Red Riding Hood, Chinese New Year, all sorts of different things, just to name a few. It really is a great time, and it is, like I said, those festivals that most people are going to want to see. So if you've planned that trip around the 15th to the 21st of the month, you're in for a real treat. The other big festivals in August this year seem to be starting a little bit later. Normally, they coincide with at least the end of those Festas de Gracia, and you can see everybody that's been hanging out and partying during those nights starts to move over to Sants. But they're starting a little bit later this year on the 24th of August, running through the 1st of September. So what you're going to see this year, starting on their patron saint day, St. Bartholomew, you're going to get over to the neighborhood of Sants, which was an older industrial neighborhood, but one that is still a very local place. Last year, 12 streets were decorated, so you still get the streets like the Festas de Gracia with all sorts of different decorations around and all of those cultural events and activities throughout the neighborhood, but one that isn't as known as those Festas de Gracia. But what it does is it gives you an opportunity to get to another part of the city, check something else out, and see some more of those traditions that are here in Barcelona. So if you're coming at the end of the month, you've got those options as well. Now, the biggest event throughout the year actually gets kicked off at the end of the month. It's really going to be held in September and October. We're going to see all the big boat races for that America's Cup. But what you've got is the preliminary regatta starting on the 20th of the month, going until the 25th. So if you're in town, you can still catch a little bit of that America's Cup, which this year is the 37th edition and something the city has been getting ready for all year. We've got all sorts of different events and cultural attractions as part of a cultural regatta that are going on throughout all of the months while you're here in Barcelona. But you're going to want to get over to that Barceloneta area around the port and just kind of see what is going on throughout all of it. They're going to have big screen TVs set up. They're going to have a lot of different things set up in terms of a fan village. And those 5 days, you're really going to be able to see that preliminary event. You've also got the Louis Vuitton Cup really starting off on the 29th. That's going to be where all of those challengers are vying for that final spot to go off against the champion, the current champion, New Zealand, which will be taking place at the end of October. But that first day really is going to be August 29th. So if you're here in August, you're going to have all sorts of opportunities to see what's going on. Like I said, get over to the beach and check some of those things out. They've also got a full experience for the America's Cup set up over by the Mare Magnum and what used to be the IMAX Theater. And another option that I think could be really cool is getting on a boat, taking advantage of the Mediterranean, getting out and checking out some of either a private boat, a catamaran, or even the golondrinas, which are down at the bottom of La Rambla. It's always a nice way to get out of Barcelona, really see Barcelona from the Mediterranean and get an idea for what's going to be going on during this huge competition. I'll leave some links below for some of those boat options for you so you can take advantage. One more event that'll be going on in the middle of the month is going to be Brunch Electronic Festival. And that's actually taking place from August 9th to the 11th. It's going to be at 3 different spots. It's going to be over by the Park of the Forum where all of those big concerts are taking place, but also at the Joan Gardens up on Montjuïc, and just down from Montjuïc in the Raval in the Nitza Club. So you've got 3 different venues where you can catch 3 different days of DJs, music and bands, and so much more. Now, it's not one that you're going to catch me at. It starts to be a little bit later and then going into the after hours, but it's always something that I want to make sure that anybody that's interested, if you want to go over and check it out, you've got that option. One thing that you should definitely do while you're here in the summer is take advantage of those summer concerts. And because some of those concerts are taking place in other months outside of just August, but you can definitely catch them at the time, I've got that entire video all about what you can do in Barcelona in the summer that you should check out so you don't miss anything else while you're here.